Okay, guys, here we are back again on the left angle cross of obscuration. Strange stories. The 6-2. 6-2 in the left angle cross of obscuration. And I guess in some ways for the 6-2, if you're healthy enough, if you get through the first part of your life, you get past the roof, if you come off the roof as a 6-2 on this cross, basically you can disappear. These are very, very obscure examples. There's no need to be shining principle. As a matter of fact, you can be the hidden example. You can be the example that's simply not obvious. There's also advantages. The whole thing about the material and the whole thing about this detail is that this is where you get this knowledge is power crap. These are beings that really assume that if they have the detail, it gives them advantage over those who do not. Now we know in the relative sense of the things, way things work, that there is a yes and there is a truth in that. So you get to a 6-2 on this cross and you have a detail that they're operating out of, the way they're living their life as themselves. And somebody says, how come you're so relaxed? Instead of telling them the detail, well, understand myself and the way I work, and I've experimented for years with my design and blah, blah, blah. They don't do that. They don't do that at all. They will give you some kind of obscure explanation. Well, many years ago, I had a strange experience. They just threw it off. Why tell them? It gives them advantages. Why should I give them advantages? If I get enough troubles in this life, leave me alone. Let me deal with my own stuff. So they can be very cold in that sense. Remember that the 6 is the archetype of the fool on the hill, the one who you truly are desperate you can go to. So many people can go to the 5 because the 5 can be so threatening as a heretic, but they can go to the 6. They figure out, okay, I know they don't like being asked, but maybe they tell us. A 6-2 there, here, that's a classic story of the guru that's crawling up the side of a hill to finally get to his guru. And he gets up there to the top, and there's a guru, and the guru asks a little sign from behind his back and says, "Eat at Joe's." What do you mean, eat at Joe's? Give me a break. I just crawled up this whole mountain, obscuration. Can you imagine what guy's going to spend the rest of a life going? What did he mean by that? What was that all about? Who is Joe? And what am I supposed to eat? And where is it? They're so powerful. I make fun of that. Half the gurus in the world do that. Half the so-called mythical teachers in the world do that. It's one of their favorite tricks. The best way to deal with somebody who asks you something difficult is to say something obscure. They learned that. They also learned that if somebody asks you a deep spiritual question, as you respond with obscurity, they're moved. It's amazing to me. What do you mean? Please, master, tell me what I should do with my life. Do you have a good breakfast? They're fucked. This is it. It's over for them. They're sort of shattered down. They actually think they've been told something profound. The guy just asked him if he had a good breakfast. The assumption is that hidden in this, there's something so important that will be transforming in their life. So obscure can carry a great deal of power. You can never pigeonhole anybody like that. This isn't Maya anymore. We left Maya. We have a different configuration here. We're slowly crawling into the law. So here it's like we don't have to give them all the detail. What we really have to do is just sort of get them to be able to do what it isn't that bothers us. Wow. Tricky people. And the 6-3. The 6-3 recognizes something brilliant. It recognizes that to be obscure logically is very difficult. It learns that. It learns that even if you're going to be obscure, even your obscurity has to have some detail. And that the obscurity itself or working with the obscurity itself doesn't necessarily benefit anyone. But you need a better delivery system. In other words, if you want to take people away from the whole truth, you tell them a story. And the 56th gate, the great storytelling gate, let me tell you a story. There's nothing more powerful. And I want you to understand how obscura naturally leads to the story. Remember that the power of the obscura is that those who haven't dealt with it are drawn and forced to probe it and to try and find what the message is. It's haunting. It's like going to the movie and you don't understand the ending. It's a horrible feeling. It's like you've been ripped off. You want to execute the screenwriter. What kind of ending is this? I don't want an obscure ending. I don't want to walk out of the theater time to make up 108 endings. Just give me the story, baby. The story. And the beauty of the story is that it can only tell you exactly what you want to tell them, but you can lead them with the sense that they told them more than that you got. The archetype of this is the parable. How many human beings in the Christian era have been spent endless days of their lives trying to understand the parables? Now, Jesus would have told you he was just telling a story. Jesus never exists, but that's another story. So you lost me there. But anyway, back to the thing. Whatever. There's a little boy, and he's sitting with his mother, and he's listening to his father tell a story from his youth. And the father's going on and on, weaving this story. And finally, the little boy says, "Is that true?" And the mother smacks him and he says to him, "You be quiet. It's just a story." That's the magic of stories. You don't know if they're true. We never know if they're true. Every time somebody tells you a story, you don't believe it. But then there's a part of you that says, "Hey, well, maybe." And if you, well, really believe, if you start looking inside of it, hey, what's there? That's an interesting story. Yeah, the magic of storytelling. This is the abstract way. We're in this experiential way, and the way that the experiential provides you with the details, it tells you the story. Oh, you have no idea what happened to me yesterday. It was really incredible. There was this and this and this and this. And what you notice about the story that you have had a camera following that person through the whole experience, what is exactly happening. It's not what they're telling you. They're waving together a certain aspect of what happened, and the rest is obscured. Never trust one person telling you, "Oh, I had this wonderful vacation in Zuga Zuga Land, and you should go too," because they remember I had nothing to do with Zuga Zuga Land. They were having such a good time that they don't even notice all the rats. They didn't notice there were people vomiting from bad food. They didn't notice lots of things. So be careful with your obscure people, because they really can take you into places that you have no idea you want to go. Okay, now we're going to go to the 56 gauge, next level.